Okay, guys, here we are, part one, mindset and mentality. Obviously, this is just the basics about how you can go about transforming your body. I know it's a new year, and people obviously want to have a new you. So, we're just going to cover some really basic stuff about goal setting, why you even want to change, what's the point. Like, if you're going to make yourself go to gym, you may as well get the most out of it. Also, we're going to talk about a little continuum. So basically what that means is the more drastic result you want, then there's certain aspects you have to abide by. Whereas if you're not chasing that result really, really fast, you can take it a little bit easier. And then we're just going to cover over what matters the most. And so what are we going next? Cool. So goal setting, I'm sure that you've heard this 1,000 times before. So we do have to make sure that they're SMART goals. So make sure your goal is specific, what that means. Really simply, don't have it, I just want to lose some weight. It's not really going to fire you up to get out of bed in the morning. So a goal like, I would really like to lose 2 dress sizes within the next 10 weeks, and I'm not sacrificing the world. I know how to measure it. How you can measure it is really simple with that one. You just put your dress on, an old dress, and you go, oh cool, it fits a little bit better, terrific, I'm on the right track. So you do have to make sure you have little tools that you can measure your goals by. Reason being, it lets you know about your progress. So obviously it's quite motivating when you see that you're progressing towards your goal. Next, obviously achievable. So it's all well and good having an awesome goal. Oh, phone, classic. It's all well and good having an achievable. Achievable. So with that, everybody usually starts, okay, sweet, I'm going to completely reform my life. I'm going to lose 10 kilos. I'm going to go to gym 5 times a week, and I'm going to eat perfectly. Not really achievable for a lot of people to do that. There's a reason where you are at the moment. It's because you've been enjoying your life, been a little bit lax with gym, been eating, whatever, whenever. So it's not very, in my opinion, achievable to go, okay, cool, I'm just going to completely switch. So that also comes into realism as well. So being realistic. So with the continuum, we'll definitely talk about this because, look, the reality is a lot of people go, awesome, I'm going to compete. For instance, I'm going to compete. And what happens is you go, okay, cool, so you want to compete. These are the things that you have to do. If you want to get the best body composition change, you want to look the best on stage, and then people go, oh, well, that's actually really hectic. That's nowhere near where I'm at right now. So it's like, okay, fail, because they're like, no, it's too hard. I don't want to sacrifice going out with my friends. I don't want to give up ice cream. I don't, like, whatever it may be. That snags you up. A lot of people go through that dilemma. So I get the best intentions. Best intentions aren't good enough to get you to your goal. And then finally, timing. So things take time. Be patient. That's super important. But you want to have a time frame on your goal because it allows you to be challenged. If you think about any work environment or school project or anything ever, there's a time frame. So get it done in this time. When you have a due date, when you have a deadline, whether it be a photo shoot, whether it be a wedding, whether it be, I don't know, whatever it may be that you can use to put a bit of pressure on yourself, completely necessary. You have to have a time frame. Otherwise, it's like, oh, I'll just do it later. I'm sure everybody's been there before. All right, cool. So actually, just touching on that as well, just with your goals, with the time frame being realistic, measurable, achievable, you do want to have a rough map of what's the minimum. So if you're losing weight, good rule of thumb, I'm assuming that most people looking at this will probably want to lose a few kilos. So you have to look at, okay, what's the minimum? What do I have to lose every week? And so good rule of thumb, you want to lose between 0.5 to 1% of your total body weight per week. 1% is pushing it. That's going pretty hard. So, yeah, it'll vary for different people, but 1%, that's sustainable, that's realistic. You won't be in a crazy calorie deficit and being starving all the time. So, whereas if you go perfect world scenario, that would be the 1%. 0.5, that would be the bare ass minimum. So 0.5, you go, cool, good week, do it again. As you know, small little changes add up to big ones in the end. So perfect world, let's go 1%, bare ass minimum 0.5%. Cool. So with having goals, all well and good, of course, you've got to know what your why is. Why do you want to lose weight? What's the purpose? How will it benefit you? Will you have better sexual attraction in your relationship? Will you feel better about yourself, be more confident? Do you think it'll make you happier overall because you can now comfortably go out with friends and be in a dress? Whatever it may be, make it a little bit more specific, or just give it some emotive connection, because obviously that's going to help you get out of bed. Because saying, yeah, I just want to drop 2 dress sizes, that's it. Again, it's not really going to go, okay, cool, I know why I'm doing this. There's a purpose. I want my partner to be more sexually attracted to me versus so yeah, if your partner will be more sexually attracted to you, that's going to benefit your relationship, which is obviously going to make you happier. So that's a little bit more personal and perhaps motivating than I just want to lose 2 dress sizes. Likewise, also flip that. What are the benefits of not being at your goal? So currently, you're at a place, your current body state, your current health, everything is because you're obviously enjoying some things. So that could be you're going out with friends and you eat out 4 or 5 times a week because you really like going out with your friends. Dinner's great, but really what you're going out for is because you want to hang out with your friends. Also, you have to be honest when you're doing this. So why is it important? Because it helps when you place your goal on a continuum, which we'll get to next. So we'll talk about it in a second. So next bit. Okay, so with your why, you have to be willing to sacrifice some things so you can achieve your goal. That's just stock standard. What's the definition of insanity? So do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. Same thing. So we need to make sure that we're doing some changes so that then you can actually make some progress. That's the key. And what do we got next? Sorry, I'll show my dogs. They're just walking around my feet. 1, 2. Yeah, right. Alright, so what's next? Cool. So, continuing. With every goal, there comes certain sacrifices that you're going to have to make. So, as you can see here, we have the flexible end and the restrictive end. Now, please keep in mind both ends, they're still progressive, you're still getting a result, and they still require discipline, they still require effort, they still require some consistency. So don't think that just because it says flexible, that means you don't have to care about your diet 3 days a week, because you have to care about your diet every day of the week. So just to clarify, it's not that this end's easier, it's just there are less things you would have to do to attain X goal. Okay, so if you look at here, for instance, I've just got a couple of little, what would you call it, examples. So if you wanted to compete at 4% and you needed to be on stage in 16 weeks and you are currently at 14% body fat, then to me I would go, okay, is it possible? Yeah, it's probably possible. However, there are things that have to come into this. So nothing's black and white. It all depends. So, are you currently eating well? Are you currently training? Are you currently doing blah, blah, blah? So, irregardless of history, if we look at it, so yep, cool, everything's good, and I think you could get down to 4% within the next 16 weeks, then how it would be is, all right, well, that's the goal. So, guess what? We're on a pretty tight schedule. There's going to be little variance in everything: nutrition, training, sleep. You want to optimize these things as much as possible, and you want to leave nothing to chance, right? So it'll be priority number one. You've got to track a lot of details, and it can seem restrictive, but the word restrictive in this context, it shouldn't be restricted for somebody that wants to compete, because if it's a SMART goal, then it's something they go, easy, no problem. Yeah, it'll be challenging, that's fine, but I can still do it. Versus, if you wanted to just say fit into some old clothes, you want to lose 2 dress sizes, and you're happy to take a little bit of extra time, no problem. You can still achieve the goals, but you can also be a little bit more flexible around things. So, yeah, you can have more variance. So that means we can change your training programs. You can, as long as you are just training, then that can be enough. You don't have to follow a really, really rigid, grueling weights training sessions like you might have to do for when you're competing. Also, you have to track your food still. So as I said, there still is some sacrifice. There still is some effort required. Also, if you wanted to eat out, yeah, of course you can. You just have to have your best guess, or if you eat out at a restaurant that has all the nutritional information, great. You know where you're at, and you know how you have to track things. Finally, also, it complements your lifestyle. So this is like a period of time where you can still be getting results. You can still be going out and having a dinner with friends. You can still be, I guess, for lack of a better terminology, like enjoying your life, because this is more at a maintenance level. This isn't trying to achieve some crazy goal within 12 weeks. This is just to make sure you're progressing, you're still getting results. So that's where I would put everybody first, no matter what. You have to be at a level what's easy to follow. You're still not sacrificing the world. You start there, then you can work your way towards the restrictive end. If you start at the restrictive end, which I'm sure everybody has done this before, cool, I'm going to be perfect. And then 2 days in, you're like, okay, I'm not perfect, damn. So always go flexible and move your way up to restrictive, because that way you're still going to get results. Is it perfect or optimal? No. But guess what? You're still going to progress, which is better than none. So just think of it like that. Basically summing that up is start flexible. Is easier. You still get results. You're not sacrificing the world. Yes, you still have to put in effort, and that's okay, because this goal is important, right? Finally, completely summing everything up, what matters the most? So with any goal, no matter what, yeah, you have to have a plan in place. Yeah, you have to have your goals and they have to be smart. Yeah, you have to realize that you shouldn't be striving for perfection, not progression. Other way around. You should be striving for progression, not perfection. And so looking at it here, consistency always wins. You would have heard that 1 billion times. Consistency always wins, which is true. If you train 5 days a week and you do that all the time, I guarantee it's better than doing 3 times a week. Definitely. Discipline, it trumps motivation. Motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes. Discipline is when you go, okay, I'll drag myself out of bed. Great. That's what gets you results. And as I mentioned already, progression, not perfection. Just focus on getting better each week, not being perfect each week. That'll save you a lot of stress. And finally, be patient. All good things come to those who put in effort and take their time. So don't get discouraged if you have a bad week. That's fine. Get back on track and keep pushing forward. So again, it's that consistency. That's it. That's all I can think of for now. If you have any questions, please pop it in. It's hectic filming one video for the straight time. So yeah, if you've got questions, go for it and shoot. Cool. Thanks.